Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first podcast of the year. Happy New Year! I'm here with Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, Anderson. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
How have you spent the holidays?
Oh, lots of relaxing and eating and staying inside.
All right, did you spend it with your family?
Yeah, I spent it with my mom and dad.
Are you guys in lockdown now in the United States?
It depends on each state, but where I live in Washington State, we're on partial lockdown. So you don't have to stay inside, but a lot of the businesses are closed.
All right. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about New Year goals, things like that, how to express your goals, and also we're going to share our goals with you, our goals for the English room, our personal goals. And before that, I'd like to say to you my condolence, Kelsey, about what happened in the Congress. It was really sad. And
Yeah,
could explain to us what happened. I'm a little out of the planet, I don't have TV here, so I just
yeah,
heard the news very superficially.
yeah. It's funny because in our election podcast, you were asking me about these dates for the electoral college, and I was like, "Well, we don't really pay attention to that." Well, on January 6th is when Congress like officially counts the electoral votes that come from each state. So they were going to officially confirm Joe Biden as the presidential elect on Wednesday, and Trump had a rally in DC encouraging his supporters to protest that count because he's claiming that the election was fraudulent and that he actually won and not Joe Biden. But it's just simply not true. So his supporters went to the Capitol as Congress was about to confirm the election, and they started breaking windows. They entered into the Capitol. They shot somebody and killed them. And the Congress people, like, they had to go hide. They put on gas masks. Like, it was just unbelievable. Um, and it's really tough because, we had a lot of protests over the summer in response to the murder of George Floyd and for Black Lives Matter. And the police response was really strong against those protests. And then to see this protest that was literally like a threat to democracy, and then to see like not that much police force be present was just like mind blowing. So eventually that night, Congress did get back together. The National Guard was called in and they controlled the protesters. And then they did have the vote. They formally confirmed Joe Biden as the next president. And then the next day, Trump finally came out and said that he would concede the election. But yeah, it was a really sad day.
I didn't take a look at any official news about it, but the news that I received on my phone said that the police officers killed people instead of people killed somebody there. Somebody shoot and somebody had died because of the protesters. It looks like the police officers killed people there.
I haven't heard that news today. I just got up, so maybe that's what came out. But the news that I had was that the protesters had killed someone. So now
Right?
they're saying that the police killed someone
Uh,
in
they
Congress.
said the police killed four people,
Wow.
and one police officer was killed too.
Yeah, I heard that as
So
well.
the numbers are five, but the police officer four. So it's really sad because the media started spreading the news like, oh, those protesters, they are very violent, and then you end up discovering that the police is killing people.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
media is spreading the number as if it was the population is shooting people, So that's pretty complex if that's the case. I want to even open up some news here for us to see later, but later in the end of the of the live, is it okay for you?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, now let's talk about New Year. I You might call me crazy, but I'm a little optimistic about 2021. I
Mm-hmm.
was optimistic about 2020, and even though we had lots of losses in terms of lives and we had lots of issues in 2020, I think we had lots of progress as well as human beings. And also, in terms of technology, we had important progress last year, as for example, quantum computing finally came out. Um, 5G technology, and I think those things can have a huge impact in our lives and also in our health. And I'm a little optimistic about 2021. I don't know about COVID. I'm not sure if I'm optimistic about that. Like, if COVID's gonna finally go away of our lives, but I'm optimistic about other things, like people awareness, the way we have relationship with each other. I think COVID changed it a lot for worse, but I think we're going to rediscover the importance of being together next year. What are your expectations for next year? Are you optimistic as I am, or are you a little pessimistic?
I was optimistic. And then I think with everything that's happened in the US this week, yeah, made me feel a bit more pessimistic just about how we can move forward in the US and find common ground, but we'll see. I'm usually an optimist. But I do agree that this year of quarantine and COVID is forcing us, like as humans, just to reconsider what's really important. And as people start to get vaccinated, I'm anxious to see how we kind of reopen. And I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, like it's been great. Some of the things that we started working on, like our podcast, and I started teaching yoga in 2020. So I think we found ways to like shift and adapt. So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Right. And what are your goals for this year?
So I'm looking to start working again full time, like in a regular 8 to 5 office job kind of thing. So I'm looking to find like meaningful work and just get back into a regular routine. Um, and also, I notice that sometimes in my yoga classes, for example, like when I'm teaching, I worry about my students and what kind of experience they're having, and I want to like hold people's hands and make sure they're okay. And I want to work on just letting that go and letting people have their own experience and not feeling like I have to control everything, which is a bit of like a longer term goal. But yeah, it's just something I noticed that I wanted to work on.
And would you like to start your yoga channel?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. So this month I'm doing like a 30-day challenge on YouTube and getting some inspiration for classes. And then in February, I'd like to restart my own classes and yeah, maybe start a YouTube channel of my own.
All right, pretty good. Pretty good. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be a great one.
How about you, Anderson?
Goals for this year. I want to impact lots of lives. I said to myself that I want to see at least 100 people becoming fluent because of me this year. Like,
Wow.
really because of me, not because they watched the video and other things. No. Oh, I took your course and I became fluent this year. So I want to see 100 people becoming fluent because of me this year. I think last year it was around 30 people who really
Mm.
said they became fluent because of me. But uh, my goal this year is 100, and for this I know I have to have lots of students because just a small portion of them are able to become fluent within 1 year. All the
Hmm.
others take a little longer to get fluent. So this is a goal. Another goal of mine is to hit the gym. So I made a live on Instagram talking about this. This is very hard for me. And hitting the gym and going live on Instagram. Those are two things that I consider to be very hard. I don't know why. I just can't. I don't know. I just can't get the hang of Instagram. I go there and I don't see the buttons. I don't see where to click, where to do what
Mm.
I need. So I always get lost there. And I decided that this year I'm gonna learn how to use Instagram properly, and also now. And I'm really happy. Today is January 8th, and I've already been to the gym 6 times. So
Wow, look at
it's
you.
a
Good
lot.
job.
Yeah, for me it's a lot. Usually, by January 8th, I would have hit the gym twice.
Yeah, I mean,
So
twice still is great.
I'm really excited, and that's a way to set the example to my students because for me, studying is easy, and I know that for many people, studying is very hard. So I think it's as hard for them to study as it is for me to go live on Instagram or to work out. And I decided that I'm gonna do these two difficult things to show everybody that what I say that's possible to do is possible to do, Like
Yeah,
even if you don't have the habit of studying, even if you didn't grow up in a house where your parents said, "Oh yeah, go there and study." I grew up in an environment like that and I'm very lucky, but I believe it's possible to change your muscles. In this
yeah.
case, my real muscles, but sometimes your mental muscles, your mind muscles. I don't know if there is an expression like that,
Yeah,
but
you could say mental muscles.
so I think it's possible to change it too, and for you to start getting used to studying. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to prove. So this year is the year. I'm gonna get a six pack and
Okay.
probably get some followers on Instagram, and that's it.
So with hitting the gym, do you have like a specific number of times that you want to go, or how are you defining like whether or not you've met that goal?
I want to go day in, day out.
Okay. So every
Yeah,
day or every other day?
every other day. So
Okay.
idea is to just keep one day for the body to rest. But sometimes I'm getting inspired and I go there even if I went before. So I'm pretty happy with these results. I hope they continue. I really hope they
Yeah.
continue. And having a gym in my building helps a lot. So
Oh, nice.
it's very empty and it's very responsible because when I go there, there's nobody, there's no possibility of catching COVID. There's
Yeah.
alcohol for you to apply in every equipment you use, so it's very good. But I don't know if I was out there having to hit the gym, if I would be brave enough. I think I would work out on the streets or at home. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, so normally here, like in January, the gyms are full. Everybody's trying to go to the gym because they made this resolution. And so people who normally work out like all the time, they are dreading January. They're like, no, all these new people are going to come. And then by like February, most of them are gone. And by March, all of them are gone. Does that happen in Brazil as well?
I don't know, but I hope to be there in April.
Okay. Yeah.
Ask me that again in April, please.
Okay. I will. Do you have any like New Year's resolutions that you've made in the past that you still follow today, like that have, you know, been consistent over your life?
Yes, I do. I became a vegetarian out of a New Year's resolution.
Oh, okay.
I quit drinking out of a New Year's resolution, but sometimes I made some exceptions, but they were all in the contract, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, I'm gonna quit drinking, but I can drink in this events." And I've been following it very well. So
Wow.
those are hard New Year resolutions that I followed. There are other ones that are easier. For example, I said I was going to be geographically free. That was my New Year resolution last year, and I acquired that. And that's pretty hard because that's been my New Year resolution for I think 4 years. And I was like, oh, this year wasn't possible, but next year I'm gonna do that. And I think after COVID, it became easier because um, everybody's learning on the internet, so it's
Yeah.
much easier.
That's awesome. How long ago did you make the vegetarian and drinking resolutions?
Drinking was 3 years ago, and the vegetarian resolution was 6 years ago.
Wow. That's a long time.
And some years I get the intention of going vegan, but it's still too hard for me. I would like to go vegan, and I also would like to cut the sugar.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But
But
little by
those
little,
are
you know?
very challenging. Yeah. One day I will quit also gluten. So
Okay.
I will end up eating fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables only.
Yeah. You'll be very healthy.
What's
Um,
your diet?
oof. Right now, it's a lot of rice, meat, pasta, some salads, but yeah, I also always want to eat more vegetables.
Right? And have you had any New Year resolutions that you were able to commit with?
Yeah, when I was young, I think maybe 12 or 13, I had a New Year's resolution to stop drinking soda. And I did it for the whole year. And I remember it being hard because when I was growing up, we had a lot of soda in my house. And now I still don't drink soda. It tastes very sweet to me. Maybe like when I'm traveling, I'll have one Coca-Cola, but not very often.
I don't drink soda. It was a New Year's resolution. I'm not sure. But one day I just said, oh, it's not so cool. And then I decided to drink juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys have really good juice in Brazil. It's a nice option.
Lots of coconut water as well.
Yeah. So yummy. Let's see. I also, 4 years ago, was a New Year's resolution to get off Facebook, and I'm still not on it. So that's one that I kept. And 3 years ago, it was to start a regular meditation practice, and I still meditate. So,
All right, now I want to ask you something about this. What do you think are the impacts in your life from quitting Facebook, from starting meditating, and from stop drinking soda?
um, okay, I'll start with soda. I drink more water because, yeah, when I need something to drink, that's always what I go for. Quitting Facebook, I reach out to my friends in real life more often because I don't just see what they're doing online. So I have to call and say, hey, like, how was your week? So my relationships have gotten stronger. And I think it's also helped with not comparing what's going on in my life to others. Because usually on Facebook, people post like the best parts about their life. And if you compare what you're going through to that, especially if you're dealing with a hard time, you're like, oh, everyone's life is great and mine sucks. So I think it's helped me just be more accepting of, what I'm going through. And then meditating has helped with like being more patient, being more empathetic, and yeah, being more calm, sleep. There's a lot of benefits.
What's your routine with meditation?
So I usually do it in the mornings. I get up and I do like a short yoga routine just to stretch. And then I use an app called Headspace. And I do like a guided meditation where I kind of like focus on the senses outside of my body, like the sounds, the smells, and then I bring awareness into my body. I do like a body scan, and then I start to focus on the breath, on the sensations in my body of the breath. And then I'll start by counting the breaths from 1 to 10 until I feel like I can focus, or I'm present with each number, because it's really easy to like think and count at the same time. So you can end up at like 25 if you're not really focused. And then you're like, oh, I have to come back. And then after that, I try to narrate the breath, like, okay, the breath begins, in the middle, ends, pause. Yeah, and just use different techniques to stay present with the breath. And I'm trying to do like 45 minutes every day. I don't always get there, but yeah, that's my goal.
And what time do you meditate? Okay.
What time of day? It's usually like 8 a.m.
Oh, it's very early. Do you
Yeah,
think it brings better results than meditating at night?
I think so, because when you meditate in the morning, you kind of prepare your mind to deal with whatever comes up in the day. So I think it helps you be mindful throughout the day. Whereas if you do it at night, it's great for sleep, but you don't get to necessarily practice throughout the day.
Right. And do you have any visualization when you meditate?
I don't. I've tried some visualization meditations, but they're really hard for me. Like it's much harder for me to stay focused, and my imagination starts to whirl. So I don't normally do visualizations.
All right. All right. I used to meditate long ago. I used to like it a lot, but nowadays I just feel like I don't have time to do that? I
Yeah,
know it's pretty important. It can bring you great results. I've seen so many people having great results. I recommend everybody to do that. But I don't know, there was a day that I just felt like I had enough. I was like, oh, I don't want to meditate anymore. I think I had enough. It was crazy. I never heard anybody saying that before, but I just felt like that. Oh, I have enough on meditation. I don't want to meditate anymore.
yeah. I mean, it's hard. Like it's it's sometimes really challenging. It's sometimes boring. It's sometimes awesome. Like, and that's
Now, for
what I
me,
like
it was
about it.
never boring. I
No.
used to go very deep, very deep. And
Mm.
because of that, one day I said, man, I think I've had enough, like I had enough of discoveries for for a whole life. So no, I
Yeah,
don't
what
want to have more discoveries.
I think it's so interesting because there's so many types of meditation, like some that are really focused on insight and coming up with discovery, some on visualizing. The one that I do is just trying to like, stop the programs that are running in your mind on background that, are sometimes feeding you these negative messages and you don't even realize it. So I don't normally have those like big insights. When I do, it's a great day. But yeah, I just try to keep coming back to the breath. But I think it's a good practice. I know like life changes. Maybe at some point I'll have to do it less, but for now I have the time, so I like to.
I think I still meditate a little when I walk. So
Oh,
sometimes I walk and I see that my mind starts paying attention to lots of things, you know?
yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Usually I walk by the beach, so it's very it's very interesting. And I get the best insights when I
And when you dance too, no? I feel like dancing is meditative.
for girls, yes. For follows.
Yeah,
Usually when you're following, it's a lot easier to meditate because when you're leading, you are worried about many things like,
yeah.
oh, worry about the follow safety. I need to worry about what's gonna be the next movement. I need to worry about the music. I need to pay attention and dance within the rhythm. So I need to create. There are many things for you to do at the
Mm.
same time. It's almost like driving. Try to drive and meditate. I don't think it's gonna be good.
Well, that's so funny you mentioned that because I actually do try to meditate when I drive because I've been driving for so long that to me, like I can do it without really thinking. Like I have driven from my house to a friend's house before and like I didn't even realize how I got there because I was so in my head. Um, so now I try to meditate just in like being aware, like trying to pay attention to all the cars because also it's safer as well.
Oh, just one detail. Very sad that sometimes he meditates at the dentist. Do you feel like meditation can reduce your pain?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm reading this really great book called The Mind Illuminated, and it talks about like the different stages of meditation. And one of them is that like as you calm your mind, your body starts to bring up these sensations, and a lot of times it's pain. And it's saying that you need to like use pain as a meditation object and just and try to instead of trying to like push it away, try to describe it and um, yeah, like have a different relationship to it. And I think that's really powerful because as we age, like our bodies start to break down, we're going to have aches and pains. But if we can change our relationship to pain, then we can still, be content as we go through life.
You said that over time we have aches and pains, and it scratched my mind. What's the difference between ache and pain?
Ache is usually like at your joints, or like your muscles, like when you get sick and like your whole body hurts, we would call that like body aches. But a pain is usually like more sharp or it's worse. Um, like I would say an ache is more mild but constant, and then a pain is like ow, ow,
All
ow.
right, good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you would classify like pain to be a migraine, while ache is a headache that you have every day, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
All right. And talking about the New Year resolutions, do you intend to reduce even more your presence on social media, or you intend to come back to social media?
It's interesting because so I don't have Facebook or Instagram, but when COVID happened, I did get on TikTok, which is ironic because most of my friends with social media say, "Oh no, I can't handle TikTok. It's too much all the time." But I think because I don't have any other ones, for me, like I had capacity to use it sometimes, and I don't look at it that often, like maybe every few days. So I haven't felt like, oh, it's taking over my life. But so I'm on TikTok right now. I think I'm going to stay on it like through the end of COVID, and then maybe consider getting off. But I don't have any plans to like change my social media use right now.
I tried TikTok for a while, but I didn't get many views, so I gave up.
Oh, yeah, like posting on TikTok.
Yeah, I was expecting like it was a very new media back then. So I said, oh, when I post there, I'm gonna get lots of views. And it wasn't that bad, you know. I think I made a short video dancing Zouk and I got 1,000 views. It wasn't really bad, but
Wow.
but I was like, oh, it's too difficult. I'm gonna stay on YouTube.
That's amazing though, 1,000 views, like just for putting one video up there.
Yeah, but it took a while to hit
Mm.
1,000. So when I first posted, it got like 10, and then I waited for 2 weeks. It was like 20 views, and then I said,
Uh,
okay, I quit. And then I really uninstalled the app, and when I returned, I was with 1,000 views. But it was in 3 months, so it wasn't like going viral or anything like
yeah.
that. But I said, oh, it doesn't bring results, so I didn't want to continue because back then I thought it would be a good idea to help me connect with my students, but not my English students, my dance students, because I was a dance teacher back then
Yeah.
for COVID.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I like about TikTok is there's a lot of dancing, the choreographies, and I think it's really fun. It like brings me a lot of joy to see so many people dancing on there. But I posted like a dance video and it got, I don't know, maybe like 20 likes, but I didn't put any hashtags. I don't like have any friends on TikTok really. So I was like, who are these random people seeing my video? I think the algorithm is quite good, actually.
And what about this? Have you seen that Donald Trump made a kind of prohibition of TikTok on US?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was last summer, I think. But they worked it out. Like Oracle, a US company, ended up buying US TikTok. So now we just have like the data for US TikTok users in the US.
Also, you still have TikTok officially.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I was like, oh man, that's a war.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think
Digital.
all of Gen Z would have would have been protesting.
And since we're talking about Trump, somebody asked you here in the chat, what's your political view? Do you like Biden, Trump, none of them?
Yeah, so I'm a Democrat and I voted for Biden. Um, I voted for someone different in the primary, so Biden wasn't my first choice, but yeah, I usually vote Democratic.
That was an interesting thing you said. So you vote for Democratic independently on who is the candidate.
Usually, yeah.
So let's say Trump changed his party and he became Democrat. Would you
No,
vote for him?
I would never vote for him, no.
All right.
Yeah, I don't believe that he would ever be the candidate, but if he did, yeah, I wouldn't vote for him. It's just, I'd like to say that I would vote independently, like, or even for third party candidates, but because our two-party system is so rigid and so strong, it tends to be that if you vote for those other candidates, then you're just throwing your vote away.
And since we're talking about this, let me understand just a little. I will name a few candidates and you tell me if they are Democrat or Republican. So we
Okay.
can exactly what is the position. Because now it's easy. Biden and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So Biden is,
Is Democrat,
all right. Trump is,
is a Republican,
Obama,
a Democrat,
mm, Bush,
a Republican.
right? And Kennedy, do you remember?
Kennedy was a Democrat.
Same as I'm confused now. Same as Bush or
Same as
or
Obama and Biden.
so I can stating a kind of profile, I can say that Democrats are more left-handed, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Democrats are on the left and Republicans are on the right.
They are more, let's say, they are less conservatives,
Yes.
Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
More like pro everybody staying together and more like pro population and stuff like
Yeah. Yeah. They're less fiscally conservative. So they want more programs with like social support. A big thing that they're pushing is healthcare for everybody. Um, and then Republicans are usually for cutting taxes, supporting business, and usually pro military.
that. Right. I get the picture. Here in
Yeah.
Brazil, we have something similar. We have PSDB and PT.
Mm. And do
And
you have other parties as well that sometimes
many
seem power?
parties. We have
Yeah.
many parties, but they are all it's all the same. So
Mm.
if you they are very similar to the idea of Democrats and Republicans because even though we have many parties, we always have only two strong candidates per election, and one of them is left-handed and another one is right-handed, and the political views are the same. For example, Bolsonaro nowadays he's the equivalent of Trump.
Yeah.
Their personality is even similar, and he's that kind of candidate against gay rights,
Mm. Yeah.
um, against abortion, the candidate in favor to big companies to prosper and small businesses. That's the idea. And
Yeah.
in the last elections, there was Haddad, which was a weak candidate, unfortunately, because I like his personality, but I don't like the way he runs for elections.
Mm.
And he was more like um, Obama's style, you know?
Yeah. He was from São Paulo, right?
Yeah, the cool candidate who goes to work by bike, and that's the
Yeah.
idea, you know? Like he believes in social programs and this kind of thing. So it's very interesting. It's very
Yeah.
interesting to compare the politics in Brazil and in the United States because here we have the illusion that we have many parties, many options, but actually we have two or three parties and we have a thing called second turn. Do you have this?
I'm not sure. What is it?
Second turn is there is the first round of elections, and then they filter only two candidates, and they go to a second round that we call
Oh,
second turn. And in the second round, they fight for the votes,
okay. Yeah, we call those runoffs.
run-outs. But
Yeah.
do you vote twice?
No, we don't. We only vote again if it was too close in the first election. Um, but it doesn't always happen.
And how do you call it?
We call it a runoff.
Vote again? It's a
Yeah.
runoff?
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
So here we always have it, and it's very common because there are many parties. So usually the votes get very spread, and they filter the two best candidates go to the second round, let's say that, and they fight for the remaining votes.
Hmm.
It's sometimes they even change votes of the supporters of the other candidate in the first round.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. But I feel like I don't know about the United States, but I feel like in Brazil we tend to follow what media says a lot. Like
Mm.
if media says, "Oh yeah, vote for Anderson," everybody votes for.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We tend to do that. All right, and talking about the year, what do you think? What do you expect? for the international relations between the United States and the other countries around?
Oh, um, I hope that we go back to some of the things we were working on before Trump came into power. Like, I'm really looking for us to rejoin the Paris Climate Accords. Um, I have no idea what's going to happen with China. Um, yeah, I don't know. I hope we just improve our public image with the rest of the world.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I I don't know much, but I think the now that Biden is assuming, I think the things are going to be a little better in terms of international relations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, separate the other nations from the United States. So I think this is important because it ends up reflecting on people's um, way of thinking. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
a leader who is a moron, you end up acting a little like that. Not everybody, but it reflects on how people behave. And I think it also reflects on the harmony between people. So I think if you have a leader which causes lots of conflicts and instigates conflicts, you end up having no peace. And when
Mm-hmm.
you have no peace, it's very hard to produce, very hard to come up with good ideas and to collaborate.
Yeah,
So I feel like um, when the United States has a radical leader, they tend to evolve, but they evolve on the cost of their relations with the rest of the world. And
yeah,
when you have leaders that are more flexible, they still evolve because the United States always evolve, always grow. Uh, but you grow together with the nations, and that's interesting because when it happens it reflects on environment. United
yeah,
States usually contract like, oh, we're going to protect the environment. And when you guys have a radical leader, you just say, oh yeah, I don't care about environment, we
yeah,
are the most powerful nation and we do whatever we want. So I think it all reflects on the leader. Even the Congress has power. The leader has lots of power when it comes to international affairs.
yeah.
So it's gonna be better with
When
Biden.
I believe so. You had mentioned that it seems like Bolsonaro is a parallel for Trump, and it makes me wonder, like with his supporters um, going to the Capitol today. Do you think that's a tactic that Bolsonaro might try if he doesn't win in 2022?
I don't know. I don't think that he has that power anymore. If
Mm,
it was the time of his first election, he was with lots of power and lots of supporters who believed in his cause, which was no cause at all, but lots of supporters. And his supporters used to fight, like fight, really fight on the streets for him. So I think these people, they're not seeing him as a hero anymore because
mm,
of here in Brazil, that he said it was not a real thing, and then he cut some help to people that were there was a help of 600 reais, and then he reduced to 300, and now people have no support at all.
oh
So
wow.
I think people are seeing that he's not a big hero, and
Okay.
if he wouldn't try because of that. There was Oh yeah, there was a very interesting thing here. There were elections for mayor, And the biggest city in Brazil is São Paulo, economically and in terms of population. And Bolsonaro supported a candidate, and his candidate didn't go to second turn,
Oh,
which is
wow.
the runoff.
Yeah.
His candidate didn't go to runoff, and he just didn't pronounce anything. So he has no power anymore. I don't know if he will not have power by the time of the elections because he is very smart in terms of political marketing. He's a very good strategist. But I think in the next elections there will run very powerful candidates. And if one of them wins, he will not have the power to try something like that. Not saying that Biden wasn't powerful, but his power was equal to Trump's in
Yeah.
terms of he had almost half of the votes.
Yeah.
So here in Brazil, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Bolsonaro would have something like 25% of the votes. So
Wow.
he capable of do that. But it's just my opinion. I'm
Yeah.
not basing it on any political, I don't know, informative. Oh, before we close this live stream, I'd like to show everybody the news. I said I was going to show. It's from Wikipedia. I know it's not a very but it's what I got. So take a look here.
Okay.
5 people have been confirmed dead from the
Oh,
events, and
wow.
others were seriously injured. One woman attempting to enter the house chamber through a barricade door was shot by a law enforcement and later died. So, as you can see, law enforcement killed people. And
Mm.
police, right? Officer Brian D. Singh collapsed after being attacked with a fire extinguisher by rioters and later died. So, 3 rioters suffered fatal medical emergencies during the event, and it's all caused by the police. So, it was not as media said, oh yeah, the rioter mob. They were referring as a mob, right? The mob came to the capital and attacked the poor police officers who were there innocent and didn't do anything to fight back. No, they killed people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not uncommon, unfortunately, in the US for police to kill people. Um, it's very interesting though because you're right. Like the story in the media was different. Um, I still think that like people dying could have been avoided had they been more prepared for that to happen. I mean, still, even when they're prepared, they kill people, but um, the images I saw were the protesters like breaking glass and getting into the Capitol um, with like guns and firearms heading towards the lawmakers. Um, so I don't know. On both sides, it's terrible. Just a sad day for everybody, but yeah.
But I don't think it was expected. That's why they don't have so much police
I think it
enforcement.
was. I think it was because the Defense Department even asked the Capitol Police if they wanted to have the National Guard ready because they knew Trump was going to have a rally and that his supporters are quite radical. But the police who normally run the Capitol said no.
Right.
So their police chief stepped down. He resigned. Like clearly there was a mismanagement of the whole situation.
Maybe he had pride, like, oh, I'm the Capitol Police. I can handle that. And
Yeah,
later
but
he
then they called
discovered that he
in the
couldn't.
National Guard when it was the Black Lives Matter protest. It's just like why are you so ready for one and not for the other? Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so we're going to close the live call now, and we're gonna go to the Portuguese room live stream. It's gonna be in the other channel. Let me see if I can find the link here so I can send it within the chat. If you are watching this on YouTube, you also may like to know that we have a Spotify podcasts, and there you can re-listen to all the live streams I have here because I don't let them available for people to listen to them later here in the channel. I'd like to thank you, Kelsey, for being with us. It's very important your presence here because it brings everybody who follows the channel the most important, which is the American culture. I think everybody's here just for that. So it's very important here, okay?
Yeah, it's always great to talk with you.
Thanks a lot. And let me just see if I can find the Portuguese Room podcast link here. I'm not sure if it's one or the
For those of you joining us in the
links.
Portuguese room, it's been a couple weeks since I has spoken Portuguese, so bear with me.
All right. I'm pretty sure you're gonna do wonderful. So see you there.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.